We are the people,
in East Berlin, I believe.
Excuse me?
Welcome to socialism, Grimmeth.
Excuse me?
We've been waiting for
Wir
you.
sind das Volk.
Motherfuckers, you're about to get trumped.
Yes, that's what I hear.
Make communism great again.
Oh.
That's a tangent.
Well, it is a
All
section.
right. Well, while Jonas reads the news or whatever, maybe Tina, would you do the recap?
I will. Last time was quite tense. We were at Cider Hall, where the heir, Halen, question mark?
Halen, you got it.
Yeah, was gonna meet with us and go home with his little army with Gorman the Young. They were gonna join us at Respite. Decim went beforehand and warned everyone of the treachery that was gonna happen and made everyone assemble. So when they arrived, it seemed like we were gonna kill them. And then Decim and Lanus and Bree went to the council and had a talking to. And Helen's good friend, Gormy the Young, joined as well. And oh yeah, you were there too, sorry. And Sir Alaric was in there too. And they had a long conversation about how things were gonna be. And in the meantime, the Great Hall with all Gormy's knights was tense as balls, because it had been ordered that they would be looked at like criminals, so it was tense as hell. And anyway, it was agreed that because Gorman the Young told us of him and Hayden's plans, that they wanted to overtake Gorman. Yeah. And then we got some kind of not very interesting jobs. We could either talk to the Peaceberries, make them vote for, I don't remember his name, Selmy? Or Trent, right? But we didn't really want to because they're batshit crazy. There was a third, wasn't there?
Possibly.
You don't remember?
Well, you spoke particularly also about Lady Appleton, or maybe even the
Yeah.
Ashfords.
Yeah, that's true. So, we have some options who we want to talk to and make them vote for Selmy.
It has been a few days. It has been actually quite a few days since Halen arrived, and in that time he's been mostly letting you all be yourself. He hasn't really encroached too much on things, for complete lack of trying. To be perfectly honest, he has mostly been spending his time riding around the lands, talking to the guards and the people, and really just establishing himself and making sure to be very visible about it, as the Lord of Respite and of House Caladan. He is, the soldiers now address him as such. Do you address him as my lord when speaking to him?
When I remember.
Alaric probably doesn't.
Depends on the situation.
He has seemingly spoken with his father, though you are not really sure what came of it, other than that Mr. Cole has been frowning pretty hard ever since, and he's clearly not happy with the situation, even if he doesn't say so. He is sworn to serve the house and the lords of the keep, and if that lord commands that he should speak to his father against Mr. Cole's advice, then so be it. The Maester, however, is not pleased and has been drinking a little more than usual, though he doesn't talk to anyone about it.
The Maester's drinking?
Yeah.
Maester's gonna be the surprise one who actually kills Hale and Caladan.
Just stabs him. Oh, what happened here? Probably Decim did it. And then Decim gets the
Came
takes
down with the
fall for it.
flu.
That's a little extreme.
Happens.
It's an old man. He's gonna die. All men must die. Surprise.
That's when I am no man.
Avon
Rips
throws
off.
the cloth.
Technically,
all along.
he was not a man either.
I am the Tali woman all along.
Damn it. Well,
Yes. From the dungeons have strange bubbling and sizzling sounds come as the door has been locked thoroughly from the inside. With the strange alchemist been working here. He has been with Alaric training some of the new, helping to train some of the new engineers. He has been very helpful. He does seem to know about machinery quite well, and he's trained them to shoot, for example, pots of water in the makeshift trebuchets and such. With different weights and such, saying that he's sure that this will come very in handy once something serious begins to happen. Even if the men sometimes joke about it being kind of dumb, because, a pot of water, what's that going to do? You can shoot a rock. Yeah.
Sure, Alaric will go with it.
Lenas has begun spending a lot of time with his wife and with trying to catch up on some of all the paperwork for the harvest and such. And trying to manage the winter times and such, and also just seemingly talking to Lucas like on top of the keep, looking out over his former lands. Yeah, he hasn't really been speaking too much with his brother, though he seemed to have been in a very contemplative mood doing all this. During this about a half moon, what have your characters sort of been doing before Before I can say that Halen will send for all of you at the end of it.
All of us?
Yeah.
When?
And now, but first, what have you been doing for the last 2 weeks? What have you been training to do, or yeah.
He must be training a lot. He even has been some of the old guards that has finally opened up to him. So there's been a lot of training, but there has been a lot of talking with the new soldiers, kind of trying to befriend them and get them to talk.
Oh, Alaric's done a somewhat similar thing. While training troops, he has been talking to the commanders, especially of each unit, and getting to know them on a bit more of a personal level to be a better leader. And he's been brushing up on his commanding skills.
Bree has spent almost all of the past 2 weeks in her room, only coming out as necessity demands, and speaking when necessary. In particular, it has been to the grace that the new lord of the house has been so busy as to not want to pay attention to her because she has no interest in saying anything to him. She may still have not said anything to him, as a matter of fact, even after the past half moon. She has gone out to pace on the castle parapet that she helped rebuild on occasion, but she has become intensely withdrawn and isolated herself in her room.
Mm-hmm.
well, Decim has been busy as well. You will have seen him furiously writing letters, sending them with ravens. Ravens have been coming and going for constantly for the last days, basically, as he seemed to have once again immersed himself into his information network, trying to catch up on a lot of things that has been happening while he has been gone, making small updates and reports and stuff. A small pile of papers basically building up. A lot of papers. You have also seen him speak to the alchemist, perhaps, as was part of the deal that some characters might know that they should share some information with each other. So they have been speaking from time to time as well. But yeah, a lot of paperwork for Decim as well.
Generally, people have been more or less busy doing their thing. Regardless, servants or guards, as appropriate, will come and ask you to the council chamber where his lordship wishes to have a word with his family.
So not me.
You as well. Were there the last.
So what? Wait, what?
Show up.
What?
Show up.
Yep.
Damn assassins don't know when to come to council chambers.
Well, I mean,
I've only been in there to
apparently,
yell at people.
apparently,
I don't even know where it is.
as it turns out,
Oh, there it
his younger sister is unable to do much without her aid. So, when you show up, you'll be asked to, please make sure that she arrives safely. And well,
What?
Yeah, no, it's the thought of someone needing to safeguard Bree from violence is it's very funny to me. It's very funny to me.
Is there a problem?
There's like a nervous entrance from Bree as she like pokes her head in awkwardly.
almost is like chewing on a sausage, while Halen is just sort of waiting with his hands folded. Gorman has been enjoying the place. He has been having his nights and such, riding around, being gallant in front of all the farmers and field hands and such. And he's been overseeing the training, very much like he doesn't seem to know much about siege works, but he's sort of been sitting on his horse watching as they've been doing things. And but he seems to have been pretty idle, basically. There hasn't been a ton here to do.
You know what? Screw it. Nima's gonna come up in the courtier garb.
Or like, sure.
It's gonna be fun.
Is she trying to not look like herself?
Trying to look like just a young maiden. So yeah, not like herself.
Or could you do a disguise then?
Sure. What is disguise under? Deception?
I don't. Yes, it is deception.
Well, I have act. I don't have disguise.
Well, then it's just a
Still
pure
try it.
deception.
Okay, sure. Is that really like she's going to? Oh, I'm gonna cheat them. It's just
That's what that means, yes. That you're trying to deceive them.
you must
Pretty
just
good. Decim sees through it. But Decim sees all. He's crazy like that.
So as Nima comes in, Gorman is not really looking, but as he looks, he just sort of frowns and seems surprised. Halen, though, frowns and does not seem particularly sort of taken aback, though Gorman sort of maybe looks a bit confused. Halen is just, he keeps his frown as he looks at Nima. Nima, would you please return in more proper clothing for travel? You will be required to go quite a distance.
Oh my.
Be quick about it.
Aw. You'll go change.
Oh, there was your fun.
He will look to Decim, frowning.
Dasm just looks very, very normal. Just he's sorting his paper.
That's what
Papers.
happens.
He doesn't.
That happens
He
all the
doesn't
time.
see. Like he
Soldiers
looks. He
take
looks
to
up.
drag.
No, like he looks up, like one eye on Helen, and sort of raises an eyebrow and like just what. the, this is what the
My lord.
council is. Exactly. What's
Nothing
wrong?
near there.
Helen will look to Alaric.
Oracle, look back. Just kind of blankly, waiting
What
to
did-
be told something. Kind of
Somebody
tired,
looks.
maybe. It's kind of that
We're all
look in
just-
his token. It's just like, yes.
Or you really have been with Nima for some time now.
I
Well-
don't know.
He's been training 200 men. So it takes a lot out of someone.
Nima returns.
I never get to wear my costume. That's actually not true. That's the only thing I wear
Helen
nowadays.
will sort of look around and say, "Good, finally. Do not let such a thing happen again." She looks to Nima. I am not fond of delays.
Nima just nuts. Like, okay, whatever.
Looks to Decim and says, I know you have been busy doing undoubtedly many things. All of you. However, the house has need of you in a different place. Says, I wish for you to leave respite, to go speak to Lord Peasebury and convince him that he should vote for House Selmy. Know that we're willing to bend a lot of the house's resources on this, though she looks at him, I am in mind to let you in many ways speak with my words here. I will require my brother to stay at home. There is much to be done in ways of stewarding that I do not have the skills necessary to perform myself. Looks to Desmond says, can you do this, Uncle?
Does some nods. Slowly and says, Lord Peasebury is a problematic man to negotiate with, I'm afraid. He is very cunning and adept at these things, and he knows the position he is in. He knows that wherever he is swayed, the balance will undoubtedly change. This will make him bold, to say the least. I have taken some preparations in trying to persuade him. At least if we cannot convince him to join our side in this, we might at least dissuade him from joining Gormy Peak. For as much as he might dislike most people around him, he dislikes the Peaks quite a bit since recent developments. I do
Yes.
believe it is possible to at least make him neutral in this case, and perhaps indeed shake his saber a little, so to speak, to make some noise for us.
If the conversation draws to a halt and you do not believe that you can make it any further, then I shall ask you to go to Gallows Grey to speak with Lord Trent, to see if he perhaps would change his mind. If that also fails, then perhaps continue on to Stonehelm to speak to Lord Swan, to see if he perhaps would break his relationship with the Trents somewhat in favor of one with us. Similar
Some
terms go.
frowns.
We must have this vote.
That is In my opinion, Lord Trent is firmly entrenched in his alliance with Gormy Peak. It will be very difficult to dissuade him from any other thing, unless we have something he very much wants. And although I have a suspicion what Lord Trent might want, I do not think we would be in a good position to provide it.
Well, if an agreement cannot be made, then at least learning what they require is something we should do. Myself and Gorman will travel to Ashford. From there, we will go to Appleton. And if all else fails, we shall go to Cider Hall to see if I can persuade my personal friend to aid us. Should we have votes more than we need from this, then that is simply good. Mr. Gorman sort of nods to him, sort of reassuringly. My brother shall stay here and keep respite working in our absence. Remember that you're going to be representing our house in this matter, and I expect the best of behavior from all of you. Looks to Nima and to Alaric.
Alaric frowns.
Nima doesn't really care. Let me rephrase that. She doesn't care.
Decim looks around and says, I have also has been my my duty to this family for many years now, compiled something of an updated news report, what I have been able to gather from my contacts around the marshes. He like dumps the pile of papers on the table for my lord to read and ponder.
That's just good. I shall do so before I leave. When do you think you can all be ready to move out?
Well, Desmond will shrug. I, for one, have a few things I would like to see to before, but fairly soon. Maybe tomorrow morning.
You shall leave on the morrow, then. This is, you are dismissed. Uncle, if you would stay.
There's some nods, certainly.
Yarn.
My sister has seemed distant at best.
Doesn't look at Hale, corks an eyebrow and says, Bree is a complicated person. She has endured much in her short life, and your sudden return has not is not sitting too well with her, I think.
That is what I understood. I prayed, and the answer I received was that change would be good for her.
Doesn't cocks his head to the side. Change? In what way?
Getting her out of her room for once. I would not simply command her to do such a thing. Sort of looks to Gorman, who frowns slightly. But I do plan on sending her with you. She may not be of great aid, but she will, if nothing else, be the heir of our heir, which holds some sway. Beyond that, she might become useful when conversing with Lord Peaceberry.
Perhaps.
She is not our first choice, but
The problem is that we don't have much of a choice unless something has changed and we suddenly have a young maiden to marry off to Peaceberry, which would certainly solve the problem. Someone looks around. But yes, Bree is first of all not of marriageable age, as far as I have understood it. Not yet.
nonsense, indeed. It will be a year, perhaps 2, I think, before such could be consummated. But marriage can be
So-
had without consummation. And I doubt Lord Peaceberry would be satisfied with simple betrothal.
Quirks an eyebrow again. He is somewhat surprised of this interesting plotting from Halen. He didn't really think he was this liberal when it came to these things. I will see what I can do. As far as I can understand it, that in particular would be a change that Bree would not do well with, I think.
I'm sending her foreigner with her as well. I hope that would not be a problem for you.
Shake
What
said
the
no,
fuck?
that is fine. We have traveled together in the past. I do not believe it will be any problem.
Good. Mr. Gorman, Mr. smart thing is, upon her return, I shall attempt to speak to her. My sister. And, well, the stories I've heard from the guard are quite different from what she has shown me with her complete absence. I must admit I expected her to speak to me some time last half moon.
Bree is shy. She is shy of strangers and don't like talking to them. Probably a result of her tragic past.
Not slightly.
He starts gathering his papers, unless it was something else.
No.
Very well then. Whistles to Qualler, who flies after him.
They stay there seated, waiting for you to leave.
Good thing you inserted the spy hole into the council room, right, Jonas?
Indeed. You know what I've been doing this last half moon? I've been drilling, man, drilling.
I spent a destiny point to activate the megaphone
Yes.
environmental quality.
Actually, Alaric's room is right above the council chamber, I do believe. So there's been some digging going on there.
They have
Isn't that-
reinforced his floor many times, though, simply because the decimal
I
chip
know,
would
like,
talk and then pus would fall from the ceiling.
Wouldn't that be
Like,
some shit like the two of them are talking, then like the floor creaks, and then Alaric just like comes like falling through.
Oh god!
Oh, excuse me. Oh, my lord.
full plate just smashes the table.
Well, there we go.
Like impaling one of the servants with speed.
Desmond would like to talk to Maester Call.
Sure. Well, the Maester was actually not being there because the Lord's Chambers is not Aaron's anymore.
What?
Well, he's not the Lord, so...
No, but he's sick. He should get the best bed.
You know, some people may think that.
Well, Desmond will, I guess, knock for the Maester too.
You hear the slow moving. The Maester always wears shoes so you can hear where he walks.
Mm-hmm.
As he nears, opens the door, the sort of slightly, just enough to move his head out and say, "Yes, my lord."
Do you have a moment to talk?
He looks